Hi everybody, welcome to Winton Raceway. We're a couple of hours north of Melbourne in the Kelly country. It's a famous part of Victoria. We're not far from the ski fields and it's pretty cold here this weekend, but a clear day has dawned for round 3 of the Shannon's Motor Racing Nationals. I'm Richard Crowe, with me Renato Liberto to talk you through the Australian Formula 3 Premier Series today. This is a good little open wheel track, Renato.
Absolutely. Last time at Phillip Isle, they would have been dialling a lot of the aero out. Now they're going to be dialling it back in. You've got to be much more aggressive in these cars as well.
Tim Macro leads the championship heading into this round in front of Chris Anthony, Trent Shervington, the ever-improving McGill driver, and the unlucky Queenslander Roland Leake, who's had a really tough weekend. And in the Formula 3 national class, it's Cameron Shields leading the way over Nathan Kumar. Well, the humble racing car steering wheel has come a long way from just being an object to steer a car around a racetrack. Largely thanks to the ongoing evolution in technology flowing down from Formula 1, a great deal of development has seen the modern day wheel become a highly integral part of a race car, especially in Formula 3.
Now, first things first, to get in the car, you actually need to release the steering wheel. We have a coupling that is onto the steering column and the steering actually comes off. So you actually need to pull that back to actually get into the cockpit. It's quite a tight fit, so you won't actually get into the car without pulling the steering wheel off. Now you'll notice behind the steering wheel we actually have a little paddle. Now that's not for gear change. What that actually is to cut the spark of the car to allow us to change the gear. We still have a gear stick down here in the cockpit, so you pull that lever at the same time as pulling the gear stick. That is actually worth half a second a lap to us around here at Winton, and is really important that it's working properly. Now you'll notice at the front you'll see that we actually have a colour display. Now at the bottom of the display we actually have revs, we have lap and speed, so if I do need to come into the pits you can actually see what speed we're doing. Plus up at the top we have what gear I'm in and also my lap time. We need to know what gear I'm in because it's a sequential box, it's not a H pattern, so it's that's an important one there. So that's my race page. Up the top here we actually have change lights, so that's what I'm usually keeping an eye on as I'm going around, and that's how I judge when to change gear. Now I can flick through different pages as we're going through here on the Bosch system. I have different pages for practice, for warm-up of the car as well, which shows all parameters of the car. So you can see there I have my battery, I have throttle position, I have oil pressure, plus also I have pressure, fuel and temperature of the engine as well.
Well, it's busy enough for racing car drivers behind the wheel, but they also have to deal with pages and pages of information on their steering wheels as well. Did you learn something from that one, Renato?
I did actually, Krause, and you know what Tim sort of spoke through there, on a track that's as fast and as demanding as this in these cars, you probably don't have a huge amount of time to look over that as you're driving, but at the same time, he showed us the lights, and it's a very simple system they have in place, so great setup.
Reverse top 4, the starting position from the race 1 results. That race was won by Tim Macro in front of Christopher Anthony, but it means Nathan Kumar starts from pole in the Arctic Motorsport 07 Dallara. Wait for the red lights to disappear. We go racing at Winton. Slow start in front to stall from Chris Anthony. Championship contender goes nowhere. He's got a lot of work to do now.
Got the car refired very quickly, it seems, there, and back on the pace. It's important to catch up with the group in front, not lose off the back of them, so you can get the cheap toe if you need down the back straight.
Here's Macro, Cameron Shields, just in front of the McDonald's Gilmore racing car. Into turn 4 they go. Cool ambient conditions and a big grab of opposite lock for Macro, battling with rear tyre temperature, struggling to get the car straight out of turn 4. Kumar leads them up into the change of direction, with young Shields behind him.
You can see them all ducking to the inside there, trying to do that classic overtake, show the nose and get through. We'll actually get it done around the outside here. Great move by Tim. Super committed, as you say, on the colder tyre. You can even see there the lack of adhesion flag out as well. So a little bit to work with in terms of tyre temp and also track condition. But these guys are doing a great job so far.
Did you see the front wheels on Tim Macro's Alpine Motorsport Dallara just feeding some lock-in, trying to find the grip level as he went around the outside there. Really interesting to watch. He's had a great run now on Cameron Shields. Young Queenslander is under attack from the double champ, and he goes through down the inside at 11 and moves himself to the race lead. And important now that Chris Anthony gets past his young teammate so he can go out in pursuit of Tim Macro.
It's interesting what you said before about Tim's hands. You can see the wheel of the car moving as well. these cars being so light and obviously in these cool conditions, the mechanical grip's quite low, so they've got the wings that you can see on the front rear of the car, which at mid to high speed corners stick the car down like glue, but in the lower speed corners, the driver has to try and generate a bit of grip in the old-fashioned way of throwing weight over the front under brakes and powering down at the rear, and you really do have to muscle the cars around some of these slower corners.
Mentioned at the top that this is so different to Phillip Island, where the last round of the championship was, where they were trimming the cars out, getting all of the aero and drag out of the cars. This is entirely different because they're just spending their entire race weekend not only looking for ultimate grip, but the balance as well, and tuning between the front and rear wings to try and get a balance between under and oversteer in these cars. So change of position there as Anthony goes past and takes Roland Legg with him. Cameron Shields now back to 4th place. And the now championship contenders are 1, 2 and 3. Let's see what Chris Anthony can do in his pursuit of Tim Macro.
You can see what looked like a bit of a whirl or something spraying up there. It's just dust. The cars have got quite a strong aerodynamic package underneath as well in a diffuser. That creates a vacuum effect, effectively sucking the car down to the road, and at the same time pulls up a lot of the dirt and the grass and so on off the edges. So a very classic thing to see here, especially with the way the sun was catching that as well.
Shields really catching Roland Legg very, very quickly. We go by. A couple of young Queenslanders side by side. Well, Legg commits around the outside, but he really struggled for straight line speed there.
It could have been a case of, as Tim mentioned before, with the throttle cut or the ignition cut on the gear change, it may have been halfway between what we call a false neutral between two gears. Might have taken him a little bit to re-grab a gear, but by that time he's lost all of this momentum against Shields, and you've got to try and recover.
Let's have a listen to Chris Anthony. Pop the clutch and stalled. Quick to get the car refired though. And was quick to get underway and ultimately didn't leave that much time on the table. Here's Roland Legg.
Big difference there, you can see from standing start to obviously getting a clean getaway. And great job there by the volunteer marshals as well to get that yellow flag out instantly as the car stalled. Great attention by them, but also that's what tells the other drivers on the grid, hey, there's a car stopped in front. So great job by them.
Legg's start wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't bad. It's certainly better than Anthony's, but he's now P2 and chasing Tim Macro. Through 10. Looked like he struggled to get the car into the corner a little bit, Renato. Maybe a little understeer in this McDonald Gilmore Racing car. A bit better there at turn 11.
What you have to try and cater for in the setup of the car as well is that mid-speed corner, whereas that turn 8 there, turn 9, it's probably that speed where you're on the edge of that mechanical grip and the edge of the aero grip, and you've got to probably overcommit to the corner with speed to get the wings working, to get the grip there.
He's certainly pressing hard, trying to reduce the margin to Tim Macro. Here's Roland Legg, youngster from Mackay. Clear in front of Cameron Shields in the second McDonald's Gilmore Racing car. Young Cameron from Toowoomba. I don't know what's in the water up there, but there's plenty of great racing car drivers have come from that part of Queensland. One W Power springs to mind, but Jordan Lloyd, who's a graduate of Australian Formula Ford from a couple of years ago, and F4 last year, now over in the States running USF 2000 and doing a very nice job. He's another Toowoomba graduate. And Mark and Heidi Ward up there, the McDonald's licensees, put a lot of time, energy and commitment into this Gilmore Racing outfit to bring these young, talented drivers through. Ben Jerzakowski, another, as we see Nathan Kumar spun the exit of turn 3. He's able to get that car refined though.
You can see there the hands on the wheel. That's full lock. That's as much steering as you've got available to you. No sort of single turns there. Yeah, very quick rotation. Probably a combination of tyre temperature and the bumps there. Just, nip the rear tyres up and you're going to go around very, very quickly. And that curb certainly doesn't help once the car's halfway out across it. You're sort of beached.
He was lucky to get that car refired. Generally, after a couple of attempts, they'll run out of juice and the car will be stranded. They don't carry an alternator on Formula 3 cars. So you can fire it a couple of times, but if it doesn't catch, you'll be out of battery and the car will be stranded. Wow, he's pushing hard, the leader. Tim Macro on the change of direction through turn 5, which is just about flat on new Kumo tyres in these cars at 200k. It's an awesome corner. And the change of direction into turn 6, awesome commitment.
Yeah, very, very fast. And then you saw the car moving around a little bit. Inside the car, the driver would certainly feel that, but Tim would know with that amount of road speed in the car, the airspeed over the wings would really be sticking that car down. Looks quite aggressive from the outside, but it's quite an obvious thing in the car to feel that the car is still quite planted.
Well, Anthony's pursuit has been look good. He'll come up short. He has reset his own Formula 3 lap record that he set in yesterday's race. So he's going very quickly. You can't help but feel there might be more to come. But it's another win for the championship leader, Tim Macro, from 4th on the grid. Wins race 2 here at Winton Raceway. A very nice drive, and the championship leader just pulls his margin out further in front. Kumar finished that one after spinning mid-race, but it's Macro in front of Anthony and Shields home in 3rd place here at Winton.
Oh, absolutely. We started 4th in that with the reverse top 4 and took a couple of laps to pick my way to the lead, but once I got in the lead, the cold tyre pace of the Alpine Motorsports Solara is really good, and we were able to get a gap and maintain it. It's a hard track to pass around here at Winton, so to pick them off with a couple at the start and then one under brakes down here into the last corner was really good.
So a great drive meant he started from pole in race 3. Unfortunately for Anthony, another stall. He just caught it and got running, but he would drop back to 4th. Those starts are really costing Chris Anthony.
Yeah, and he's got so much work to do now getting through people here on... There we go, another onboard from the second row. You can see how quickly they get on top of that stopped car, and onboard now from Anthony. Again, as soon as he's released the clutch, the light's gone out. He's grabbed the restart incredibly quick, but now he's got all this work to do to catch up to Macro.
So he was behind Roland Leake. He then passed Cameron Shields, and then he chased after Tim Macro. Now we've got something special to show you. This is the fastest ever race lap of Winton Motor Raceway. New outright lap record for Chris Anthony as he chases Tim Macro. So 1 minute 14.3401 breaks the 16-year-old outright lap record at Winton Motor Raceway. A great accomplishment for Chris Anthony. In the end, he just fell short, and Tim Macro took a clean sweep of victories to win round 3 of the Australian Formula 3 Premier Series.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear, but I've really got to thank the team. I've got to thank the Alpine Motorsports team. They've done an awesome job. Inside Edge Nevada know how, and F2P for their help as well. It's been a really, really good weekend.
So still a lot of racing to go, but a nice lead for the double champ over Chris Anthony, who will be looking to fight back when he gets to home turf at Sydney Motorsport Park for the next round. Roland Leake 3rd and Trent Shervington 4th, looking to come back at the next round of the championship. Cameron Shields extends his margin over Nathan Kumar in the F3 national class.